Hello and welcome to Excellence Classes. I'm Rahul Nandwani and the topic which we are going to discuss today is the pillar of microeconomics. Only exam oriented content which will assure you A grade in the examination will be discussed in this video. Before that, I would request you to please subscribe this channel and press the bell icon for the latest video updates. So our chapter is theory of demand. Rather than just reading and mugging up the definition, I just want you to understand the three components and two elements of demand. The three components of demand are desire to buy the commodity, willingness to pay, and ability to pay. Desire to buy a commodity means the commodity we wish to buy. Willingness to pay for it means a commodity for which we wish to pay. And ability to pay means our financial power to pay for that commodity. Now when we analyze the definition which is given in this slide, we observe the two elements of demand. First one is price and the another one is quantity. Price is the value of a commodity in monetary terms and quantity is the value of a commodity in quantitative terms. Now the diagram which is given at the bottom of this slide is the foundation stone of this chapter, which represents the inverse relationship between own price of the commodity and its quantity demanded, which is a very simple but fair logic that when the price goes higher, we may demand the less of that commodity. For say, if the price of a Redmi mobile phone rises from Rs 15,000 to Rs 30,000, we may not gonna buy it if we are considering the purchase on the basis of own price of the commodity. So these are the things you need to understand rather than cramming the definition, because examiner is rarely gonna ask you such definition in the exams. Now the difference between demand and quantity demanded is based on three aspects. First one is quantity, second one is price, and the third one is time. So you just have to memorize these things carefully, read the definition once or twice rather than mugging it up. Now moving forward to our next topic, which is concepts of demand. So there are three concepts of demand. The first one is demand schedule, the second one is demand curve, and the third one is demand function. Demand schedule is further categorized as individual and market. So let's begin with demand schedule. When we represent the prices and quantities of a commodity in a tabular representation, then it is known as demand schedule. As I said earlier, demand schedule is further categorized as individual demand schedule and market demand schedule. Individual demand schedule is a tabular representation of relationship between own price of the commodity and its quantity demanded by a single buyer in the market. As you can see in the table drawn below, at the price level of Rs 1, the quantity demanded by the consumer A is 4 units. At price level of Rs 2, the quantity demanded by consumer A is 3 units, and so on. This table represents the inverse relationship between own price of the commodity and its quantity demanded, which means that as the own price of the commodity goes higher, the quantity demanded by consumer will decrease. On the other hand, market demand schedule is a tabular representation of relationship between own price of the commodity and its quantity demanded by all the buyers in the market. As you can see in the table drawn below, the quantity demanded by consumer A and the quantity demanded by consumer B are combined to compute the value of market demand, which means that the relationship between own price of the commodity and market demand for a commodity is also inverse, which means that as the price of a commodity goes higher, the market demand for that commodity will decrease. Now after preparing demand schedule, when we represent the relationship between own price of the commodity and its quantity demanded in a graphical form, it is known as demand curve. Demand curve is also categorized into two types. First one is individual demand curve and the second one is market demand curve. Individual demand curve is a graphical representation of relationship between own price of the commodity and its quantity demanded by a single buyer in the market. We have to prepare the demand curve from the values of demand schedule. Make sure to take the price of the commodity on y-axis and quantity demanded for a commodity on x-axis.
On the other hand, market demand curve is a graphical representation of relationship between own price of the commodity and its quantity demanded by all the buyers in the market. Now we have to prepare market demand curve by plotting combined quantity demanded units of all the individual consumers on x-axis and price of that commodity on y-axis.
Let's move to the most important topic of this chapter, which is demand function. It is also known as determinants of demand, and it is also known as factors affecting demand. As the trend of this chapter, this topic is also categorized into two parts. The first one is individual demand function and the another one is market demand function. Individual demand function is the functional relationship between individual demand for a commodity and its various determinants. Likewise, market demand function is the functional relationship between market demand for a commodity and its various determinants. After analyzing the definitions, we all are now familiar with what is individual demand and what is market demand. But the question is, what are its various determinants? So now we are going to study the various determinants or factors affecting individual demand as well as market demand. Now the first factor which affects the demand of an individual consumer is own price of the commodity. And to understand this concept, we just have to question ourselves how a rational consumer will behave while purchasing a commodity on the basis of own price of the commodity. The rational consumer will demand more of a commodity when the price is lesser and less of a commodity when the price is higher, which implies that there is an inverse relationship between own price of the commodity and its quantity demanded, and it is also known as law of demand. The next factor is price of related goods. Price of related goods is further categorized as substitute goods and complementary goods. Substitute goods are those goods which can be used in place of other, such as tea, coffee, Pepsi, Coke, etc. In case of substitute goods, there is a positive relation between price of a good and demand of other goods. For example, if the price of coffee rises, demand for tea will also rise and vice versa. The other types of goods are complementary goods. Complementary goods are those goods which are used together, or we can say that the use of them goes hand in hand. In case of complementary goods, there is a negative relation between price of a good and demand for other good. For example, if price of petrol rises, demand for the cars will fall and vice versa. The next factor is income of consumer. On the basis of income of consumer, the goods are categorized as normal goods and inferior goods. Normal goods are the type of good quality goods. For example, clothes, basmati rice, etc. There is a positive relation between income of a consumer and demand for normal goods. If income of a consumer increases, demand for the normal good will also increase and vice versa. Inferior goods are the types of low quality goods like dalda ghee. There is a negative relation between income of a consumer and demand for inferior goods. If the income of a consumer increases, demand for the inferior goods will decrease and vice versa. The next factor is taste and preferences of a consumer. A demand for goods and services also depends upon the consumer's taste and preferences. If the product is favorable to the consumer, demand for the commodity will increase. On the other hand, if the product is unfavorable to the consumer, demand for the commodity will decrease. The next factor is expectations of a consumer. If a consumer expects to rise the prices of a commodity in future, at present, the demand for that particular commodity will increase and vice versa. For example, if a consumer expects that the prices of mobile recharge packages are going to rise in future, at present, the demand for mobile recharge packages will increase. Now, as we all are aware that market demand constitutes of all the individual's demand. Therefore, all the factors affecting individual demand will also affect the market demand. Along with that, there are two more factors which affects the market demand. The first one is population size and the another one is distribution of income. Now, what is population size? If the size of a population is large, demand for a commodity increases. On the other hand, if the size of the population is small, demand for the commodity will decrease. Now the next factor is distribution of income. If there is unequal distribution of income in the society, the demand for the commodity decreases. On the other hand, if there is equal distribution of income in the society, demand for the commodity will increase. Now moving forward to our second most important topic of this chapter, which is law of demand. It is a 5-step rule question. Law of demand consists of 5 steps. First one is statement or definition. Second one is assumptions. Third one is demand schedule. Fourth one is demand curve. And the last one is its explanation. You have to attempt this question in the examination in the same manner as did in these slides. Now the statement is, the law of demand states that other things being constant, there is an inverse relationship between own price of the commodity and its quantity demanded. Which means that when the consumer is considering the purchase on the basis of own price of the commodity, he will buy less when the price is higher, or vice versa. Now the next step is assumptions of law of demand. We have to consider other factors other than own price of the commodity being constant while understanding the law of demand, because only single factor, which is own price of the commodity, is considered in the case of this law. These assumptions are: there is no change in the price of related good, there is no change in the income of consumer, and there is no change in the taste and preferences of a consumer. Now our next step is demand schedule. In demand schedule, you have to represent a negative relation of own price of the commodity and its quantity demanded of an individual consumer in a tabular form. After that, you have to represent this schedule in a graphical form by plotting the quantity demanded on x-axis at a certain price on y-axis, which is our fourth step known as demand curve. Make sure to plot the price on y-axis and quantity demanded on x-axis, and after plotting all the points you will see the slope of this demand curve coming downward from left to right, which indicates the inverse relationship between price and demand. Make sure you plot the price on y-axis and quantity demanded on x-axis, and after plotting all the points you will see the slope of this demand curve coming downward from left to right, which indicates the inverse relationship between price and quantity demanded. In the last step, which is explanation, you just have to write the implications and your observations from the definition, demand schedule, and demand curve. Now moving forward to our next topic, which is exceptions of law of demand. Exceptions are those situations where the law of demand fails, which means that in these situations there will be positive relation between own price of the commodity and its quantity demanded, and the demand curve will slope upward from left to right. The first exception is articles of distinction. This exception was given by Professor Veblen, that is why it is known as Veblen's effect. According to Professor Veblen, there are certain goods which are articles of social distinction, which produce gap between rich and poor, like gold, diamond, and expensive paintings. These articles are generally purchased by a richer section of the society to show their status. So these are also known as status symbol goods. In these situations, law of demand fails because the richer section of the society demand these goods more when the prices are higher. Now the next exception is Giffen goods, and this exception was given by Sir Robert Giffen. Giffen goods are highly inferior goods showing a very negative income but positive price effect. Negative income effect means these goods are more demanded when the income of a consumer decreases and vice versa. On the other hand, positive price effect means these goods are more demanded when the price of these goods will increase and vice versa. In this situation, law of demand fails as it shows a positive relation between own price of the commodity and its quantity demanded. This is popularly known as Giffen paradox. Few examples of Giffen goods are coarse grain, coarse cloth, etc. Now the last exception is irrational judgment. When the consumer judges the quality of a product by its price, law of demand fails. It is an irrational judgment. Perhaps it is owing to a huge price difference between organic and non-organic products. In the market, richer section of the society considers organic product of high quality, so this judgment shows positive relation between own price of the commodity and its quantity demanded. Hence, law of demand fails. From the beginning of this chapter, I am saying that there is a negative relation between own price of the commodity and its quantity demanded, and the demand curve slopes downward. Now, we will study why the demand curve slopes downward. So these are the 5 reasons behind this. The first reason is law of diminishing marginal utility. Law of diminishing marginal utility states that as we consume more and more units of a commodity, marginal utility of each successive unit must decline. We will study in detail about this law in the chapter Consumers Equilibrium. Now the next one is income effect. When the price of a commodity falls, the real income of a consumer will increase. Due to increase in the real income of a consumer, more of the commodity will be purchased. Next one is substitution effect. It refers to substitution of a commodity for the other when it becomes relatively cheaper. When own price of the commodity X falls, it becomes relatively cheaper from commodity Y. Accordingly, X is substituted for Y. Next one is size of consumer group. When price of a commodity falls, the size of consumer group becomes large because now many more buyers can afford to buy it. Accordingly, demand for the commodity will increase. And the last one is multiple uses. If a commodity has variety of uses, for example milk, which is used for making curd, butter, etc., demand for milk expands due to decrease in its price. Our next topic is cross price effect. Cross price effect is nothing but effect of change in price of a related good on the demand for a commodity. Now you all are aware that related goods are categorized as substitute goods and complementary goods. In the case of substitute goods, there is a positive relation between price of a good and demand of other good. As you can see in the diagrams drawn below, due to the rise in prices of coffee, the demand for tea increases and vice versa. In the case of complementary goods, there is a negative relation between price of a good and demand of other good. As you can see in the diagrams drawn below, due to the rise in price of petrol, the demand for the car decrease and vice versa. Okay, now let's move to the next topic, which is relationship between income and demand. On the basis of income of consumer, the goods are categorized as normal goods and inferior goods. In case of normal goods, there is a positive relation between income of a consumer and demand of normal goods. As you can see in the diagrams drawn below, due to the increase in income of consumer, the demand of normal goods also increases and vice versa. On the other hand, there is a negative relation between income of a consumer and demand of inferior goods. As you can see in the diagrams drawn below, due to the rise in income of consumer, the demand of inferior goods falls. Okay, so finally move to the last topic of this chapter, which is taste and preferences of the consumer. On the basis of taste and preferences of the consumer, there may be two situations. Either the product may be favorable to the consumer or it may be unfavorable to the consumer. Taste and preferences of the buyers are determined by 3 factors, that is like and dislikes, trends and fashions, and climate and environment. A favorable change in the taste and preferences of consumer cause increase in the demand of a commodity. As you can see in the diagrams drawn below, due to the favorable change in taste and preferences of a consumer, demand curve shifts to the right. On the other hand, an unfavorable change in the taste and preferences of a consumer cause decrease in demand of a commodity. At last, I have given you some questions in the last slide which you have to solve yourselves and mention the queries if any in the comment section.